What is going on, everybody? Back to the regularly scheduled programming where we got UFC picks and actual UFC content. We got UFC Fight Night Houston with Sean Strickland taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Banger fight, in my opinion. Absolutely banger fight. Really, really big in the sense of that the next title challenger is probably one of these two guys. I think whoever wins this fight, so long as they win it in decent fashion, not even needing a finish, but a dominant, impressive win where they show some good wrestling, either whether it's wrestling defense or offense, I think they could absolutely get the title shot against Khamzat Chimaev. So let's hop right into it. We have Sean Strickland taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez in the main event. Big fight. I did a whole breakdown video, kind of my thoughts on how this fight's going to go. But I didn't give a full pick, but here's my pick. If you know me, I'm going to be completely biased, so just take this with a grain of salt. But I also do think this is how this fight's going to go. I think Sean Strickland wins this fight. I think he wins it with, I don't want to say relatively easy. I think it will be competitive. I think it'll be close. I think Fluffy will have success. I just think Sean Strickland is a better fighter overall. I think he's more well-rounded. I think his gas tank is better than Fluffy's, who does have a good gas tank. I think Fluffy's kind of weak. As crazy as it sounds, I think he can be beat up. We've seen him get finished by guys who are nowhere near on Sean Strickland's level. Sean Strickland, he's gotten finished by Alex Pereira and Kamaru Usman. And Kamaru Usman at 170, so I don't even count that. But at 185, he got finished by Alex Pereira, and that's it. That's everyone gets finished by Alex. Not a big deal. I think Sean Strickland takes this fight likely by decision, but I could see him breaking Anthony in the later rounds. I could see him really wearing on the body. We've seen Fluffy be very weak. I know it's kind of overstated at this point, but we have seen him be weak to the midsection. I think Sean works the midsection really well with his teeps, and I think he can throw a body jab, and digging into the body is really, hard with hooks if he needs as well. I think we could see that in this fight. I think Sean will take a step forward and kind of bring his game being a little more versatile after his last fight against CDP and kind of being too one-dimensional and not making any adjustments. So the pick here is going to be Sean Strickland, likely by decision or late finish. Moving on, we have Geoff Neal versus Uros Medic. Listen, I think Uros is very, very good. I really do. He's had impressive wins recently. I just think, even with Geoff Neal's losses recently, I think he is on complete another level than Uros Medic. Geoff Neal, let me read off his losses to you. Hear me out. Because he's lost quite a few recently. But here are his losses. Carlos Prates, Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Neil Magny, Stephen Thompson, Kevin Holland. Those are his losses. And within the past 3 years, it's just Carlos Prates, Ian Gary, and Shavkat. Listen, who isn't losing those guys, Anyways, I think Geoff Neal will finish Uros Medic. Like I said, Uros is very good. I just don't think he's going to be able to compete with the boxing of Geoff Neal, who has really, really good boxing. He is, he's a complete, guard. He's a gate guard, whatever the term is, fighter. He keeps you away from the top. I don't think Uros Medic is quite that level to be one of the top guys. I think Geoff Neal will turn him back in this fight, probably by finish. I think he'll catch him early. That's no shit against Uros. I think he's very good. I think it's just Geoff Neal's on another level. Big fight here, very big fight. Melquizael Costa taking on Dan Ige, his first fight into the rankings for Melk. I've been very high on him for a long, long time. I was catching him as an underdog quite a few fights back, and I think he's a pretty decent-sized favorite here, which, in a sense, I think is a little bit crazy because we've seen Danny Ige. He's very good. He's competed, had close fights with a lot of the top guys, like Diego Lopez. I think it'll be a tough fight for Melk, but I do think with his rangier style, I think he can edge this one out by decision. I really don't see any chance of him finishing Danny Ige. Ige can eat shots, and he's very, very durable and has a good gas tank. I don't see Melk finishing him by any means, but I do see him winning a decision. I'd say that with relative confidence, though the line is a little bit crazy. Ante Delija getting back in there, taking on Sergey Spivak. I've got Ante Delija. I know he lost his last fight. I think it was against Waldo, if I'm not mistaken. It was his last one. Yes. taking on Sergey Spivak. I have Ante Delija winning probably by finish, but I could see it being a later finish. I think it goes into the second or third round. I think these are, two of the better heavyweights. Obviously heavyweight overall is really a weak division, but I think these are, two of the better heavyweights, and we'll see a decent scrap here. Really see them throwing hands. But yeah, Ante Delija by later in the fight finish will be the pick here. Jacoby Smith taking on Josiah Harrell, who I don't know if I've seen before fight. I don't remember. No, I don't know if I remember. I don't remember watching him before. Is this his debut? Yeah, debut here. He was actually supposed to fight Jack Della Maddalena in the UFC, but had the bout canceled. Interesting. Anyways, Jacoby Smith. He's nasty. He's absolutely disgusting. An absolute specimen of a man. He's going to chin Josiah Harrell. I looked back at, I think, two of Harrell's fights. He's getting chinned. And listen, don't get me wrong. He's not completely awful. He's an undefeated fighter. Jacoby's going to knock him out. That's crazy. It's not crazy to say. He's a giant favorite for a reason. But, yeah, he's going to chin him. I think Jacoby Smith is very, very good. I think this is an easy fight for him. I don't think this is a fight where you have to worry about him getting checked yet. Zach Reese taking on Michel Pereira. I think Pereira's a favorite in this fight, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. No. Oh, yes, he is. He's a small favorite. I'm picking Zach Reese, though. I think Zach Reese is not great, but I think he's tough. And I think Michel Pereira is not good. Yeah, I think Zach Reese is going to probably finish him. My guess, I don't think Michel has a good gas tank at all. I don't think he's very tough. I think he can if you can get out the first 2 or 3 minutes with Pereira, you're going to get him out of there. He's not good. He's overrated. He had all that flashy shit for a while. It doesn't really work. Zach Reese will probably catch him and or just kind of implement his grappling, and I think he probably will finish Michel Pereira. That's going to be the pick there. Okay, Chidi Njokuani versus Carlos Leal. Carlos Leal looked, I think it was his last fight, right? No. Oh, he had that really good fight. He got finished by Muslim Salakal, but that was turning into a good fight. He's had a couple good wins. He beat Alex Morano. I've got Carlos Leal winning this fight. Chidi Njokuani, I don't think he's the type of guy we thought he was for a while. He's lost his last one. He has a couple good wins, and I think he's the favorite in here, Chidi. I think he's a favorite in this fight. No, he's an underdog. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, Carlos Leal will be the pick. I kind of almost want to switch it to. Oh. You know what? Executive decision. Last second decision. Now I'm thinking about it because I want to pick an underdog here. And I think this is a very close fight. And with Chidi being a plus 160 underdog, we're taking Chidi Njokuani. I don't want to say decision or whatever, but we're taking Chidi. That's going to be the pick there. Not a ton of confidence. I think this fight could really go either way, but I'm going to take Chidi. And we got Ode Osborne versus Alibi Idris. I don't think Zalibi's as good as we thought he was. We were originally thinking he was that guy coming out, going into the tough finale. He lost it to Joseph Morales, who's a decent fighter, don't get me wrong. I think Ode Osborne is a very good fighter. I just don't think he's one of those guys that just can't ever really fully put it together. Losing to Ronaldo Rodriguez, that's not good. Losing to Steve Erceg or Asiom Mabayev, that's all right. We get it. They're very good, but there's some fights that he really should be winning here that he's not. I'm taking Alibi Idris. Not a ton of confidence, as I said, but we're taking him here, probably by decision. I don't see either of them getting a finish there. Alden Correa taking on Louis Gruel. We're taking Correa, first round finish. I don't think Louis Gruel is very good. He's lost his last two. He lost to Ode Osborne, lost to Jesus Aguilar. I see a quick finish in this one. Flyweight, we don't see quick finishes too often, but I see Correa catching him, dropping him, finishing him via strikes. Like I said, not a ton of confidence, but that's going to be the pick there. Moving on, Nora Konole versus Jocelyn Edwards. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this fight was on UFC 314. Let me see. No. Was it? No, it wasn't. I lied. I remember watching her, though, in Miami. Anyways, pick's going to be Jocelyn Edwards. Zero confidence. Don't bet on this fight. If you are, bet on the underdog. This fight, it's just a slot fight. We're taking Jocelyn Edwards, though. I think she's a little more athletic. That's literally the only reason. Yeah. Crappy fight. I don't know why we employ these people. Ramiz Brahimaj versus Punale Soriano. This is a good fight, I will say, actually. It's a good fight. Soriano, I think, had a good last win, if I'm not mistaken. He won his last one against Nikolai Vertenikov. Ramiz Brahimaj, also a decent fighter, 13-5. He won his last couple as well, last 3, I think. The pick's going to be Ramiz Brahimaj. I think it's a scrap in the beginning. I think how this fight's going to go is going to be a scrap in the beginning of the fight. I think Ramiz will catch him and put him out late first, second round, but we'll see. Soriano's pretty tough. He's got one of those Islander chins, but I could see Brahimaj finishing him. That's gonna be the pick there. And then we got a couple left. Jean Paul versus Phil Rowe. Jean Paul, he's good. I don't know why it says 1-0. Let me get you his actual record. I don't know fully what it is. It's 9-2. Yeah, off a Contender Series, first round finish. He's pretty damn good. I don't think Phil Rowe's really got it. He's a tough fight for most people. He's really big and lanky. I think it'll be a bit of a challenge to get inside. Jean Paul will have to get in there in the boxing range. Can't stay out too far and catch Phil Rowe's jab. But I still do see Jean Paul winning this fight. JPL winning this fight by finish is going to be... No, sorry, decision. I had him by decision. And then moving on, we have Jordan Leavitt versus Yadir Davale. YDV, he was in that one fight that got canceled due to the betting crap or didn't get canceled. It was that one fight that got investigated because of the betting. I did have him picked in that fight before we saw any of that betting stuff. I do think he's a decent fighter. I think he's quite good. I think Jordan Leavitt's not very good. I think he's going to finish Jordan Leavitt pretty quickly. That's going to be a pick there. Like I said, I think he's pretty decent. And then fight opening the card, we have Carly Judice taking on Juliana Miller. Carly Judice, I think she's pretty damn good. I mean, she fought who was it? Nicole Kalari. I remember watching that one. It was a couple months ago now. Carly Judice is pretty nasty. Her striking is good. She's very versatile in her striking. We're taking her. I'm actually not even overly disgusted by this women's MMA fight. So that's a good thing. But overall, pretty decent fight night, I feel like, at least. I'm excited for this one. After a week off of no fights. Stoked. Sean Strickland's my second favorite fighter. I'm completely biased. I really need him to win here. I really need him to fight Khamzat Chimaev. I'm dying for a win here. So, yeah. I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys could, the channel's been doing great recently, and I really appreciate it. If you guys could subscribe, we've gone up 30 subscribers, which is a lot for me in the past week. So it's been awesome. I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, let me know who you guys think is going to win the main event. Drop a comment. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.